The Last Great Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving table was less a dining arrangement and more a human Tetris board gone horribly wrong. Elbows were weapons, and personal space was a forgotten dream. At the head of the table, king of the chaos, sat Uncle Ron, wielding a turkey leg like a scepter. He pointed it at his niece, Jessica, whose phone was hovering precariously over her plate. "Get a good one for the internet, honey," Ron boomed. "Gotta prove you ate something besides avocado toast." "Honestly, Ronald," Aunt Carol chimed in, snatching the last dinner roll. "Millennials are broke, but somehow still keeping Starbucks and DoorDash in business." Jessica's brother, Kevin, sputtered mid-chew. "It's called the gig economy, Aunt Carol. We're supporting small businesses." Carol patted his cheek. "That's nice, dear. You keep telling yourself that." Ron turned his attention to his own daughter, Susan, who had been silently observing the carnage with the detached calm of a war correspondent. "Look at her. Gen X calls themselves resilient, but y'all were just latchkey kids with Stockholm Syndrome." Susan didn't even flinch. She just took a long, slow sip of her wine. "She's got flair, I'll give her that," Carol added, gesturing with her fork at Susan. "Gen X turned neglect into a personality trait. Congrats on being bitter with flair." Susan slowly lowered her glass and raised it an inch in a mock toast. "Thanks, Mom. I learned from the best." The turkey was now a carcass, and the wishbone made its appearance. Both Ron and Kevin lunged for it. Ron, with the ruthless efficiency of someone who'd elbowed his way through Black Friday sales in the 80s, won easily. He held the larger piece aloft. "See? Commitment. A trait you kids only apply to your Wi-Fi passwords." "Millennials are the only generation that can be unemployed but still have 3 side hustles and no money," Ron declared to the room. Kevin, scrolling dejectedly through his phone, mumbled, "It's a portfolio career." Ron squinted. "Is that what you call delivering tacos in your 2008 Civic?" Carol intercepted the sweet potato casserole on its way to Susan. "You know," she said, scooping half of it onto her own plate, "y'all treat therapy like it's a Netflix subscription. Back in our day, therapy was called shut up and mow the lawn." Susan, pouring more wine under the table, muttered, "And look how emotionally available that made you all." "Don't you roll your eyes at me," Carol said, pointing her serving spoon at Susan. "Gen X invented sarcasm and midlife crises in the same decade." Susan took another sip. "We had to invent something. You guys were too busy inventing divorce." As the pumpkin pie landed on the table, Jessica was already directing a full-on photo shoot, moving forks and adjusting whipped cream dollops. "It's all about the aesthetic," she insisted. Carol shook her head. "Millennials killed everything except vibes and brunch." Finally, a food coma-induced silence fell over the table. Everyone was stuffed, exhausted, and emotionally bruised. Ron took a huge bite of pie, chewed thoughtfully, and looked at his wife. "You know, Carol," he announced to the silent room, "we really are the last great generation." Carol patted his hand, a queen surveying her fallen kingdom. "They just don't make 'em like us anymore."